Right, he is. All right, we're waiting to see if anybody else is coming in. I only have Noah here. So we may just, I don't know if it's just going to be the two of you guys today or what. I'm just going to check and see if I got some emails from anybody. I think Olivia's out today. And then I got an email from Avery saying she's coming, but she is not here yet. So I guess we will find out. Hopefully they'll be here shortly. We'll go ahead and get ready to start. Okay, so I guess the first thing that we will do is we will take a look at our homework. Yes, I do need to put it on the stand. I was going to see if it would be big enough to put right there, but I guess I need my stand. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we had for homework. Is there any questions that we might have? Let's see, we had, I think we started with these middle two. let's see, this is on page 114 from activities from lesson 51. All right, so lesson 51. Activities 3, the middle two at the top. All right, so we have 5x plus 14 divided by 7 plus 3 equals 3 times x minus 1 minus x. And in that one, we end up with x is equal to -3. If y'all have questions and you need me to work anything, if you missed it and you need me to help you with it, let me know, okay? So on that first one, x is -3. The one below that, we have 3x divided by 2 plus 3 equals 2x plus 1, and x is equal to 4. Okay, so either of those, do y'all need help on either of those? All righty, then we'll move on down to the next page. We had dealing with percent increase. In that section, we moved on, let's see. So we have page 116.
Miss Jennifer, wait.
Yes.
You missed the beginning of lesson 51. We did those as well.
Oh, thank you. So the beginning of lesson 51. Oh, those
yeah.
That's right. We did those where we multiplied and we had already set those up. Okay, so at the beginning of lesson 51 where we set those up, activities 2. All right, so the first one, when we found, okay, so we went ahead and said that he had the price, he was selling it at a 10% discount, so we said we would need to multiply by 0.9. So the first one, x is equal to, or we would end up with $6.56. Then at 8.79, it would end up going down to $7.91. The $10.29 stapler would go down to $9.26. The stapler that was $12.99 goes down to $11.69. And then the $14.99 one goes down to $13.49. Okay, so any questions on those? All righty, then we already checked the middle two on the next page, and then moving on to lesson 52. Activities 4. Okay, so I told you guys that in this, we would have to eliminate the fractions, and to eliminate the fractions, that meant we had to multiply by the denominator, okay? And so when I do this and I multiply by the denominator, I'm gonna go ahead and work through these. So that means I would multiply everything by 3.
That middle one drove me crazy.
Yes. So when I multiply by 3, basically what happens with, if I have 3 times 2x plus 1 over 3, okay? So if I think of 3, whole number 3 as a fraction of 3 over 1, and I multiply, then basically I can see that these two 3's are going to cancel out. So whenever I multiply by a number in the denominator, all that I'm going to be left with is what is in my numerator. Okay, so when I multiply that by 3, I'm just left with 2x plus 1 minus, but then I have to multiply the 3 times that -2. So that's going to be -6 equals 3 times -7 is -21. So by multiplying by the denominator, that denominator goes away, and then I'm able to just have what was left in the numerator. So now I have 2x, I have plus 1 minus 6. 1 minus 6 is going to give me -5 equals -21. Then I'm going to add 5 to each side, and I have 2x is equal to negative 21 plus 5. Remember, when I'm adding a positive and a negative, I take the sign of the larger absolute value, so that would be negative, and then I find the difference. And 21 minus 5 is going to give me 16. So now I have 2x equals negative 16. Yay, come in. We've got 2 more joining us. It was just the 2 of us for a little bit. No, the 3 of us, two in class and 2 one-on-one. All right, now we're going to divide both sides by 2. So x is equal to negative 8. Okay, so as we work through these, if y'all have any questions, I'll flip back just a minute and show y'all the answers to homework, and we'll check through them. All right, the next one, I have to multiply everything by the denominator of 2. So again, like I said, when I multiply these, my denominator just goes away and I'm left with what's in the numerator. So 3x plus 5 plus 2 times 1 is 2 equals 5x times 2 is 10x, and 3 times 2 is 6. I'm going to go ahead and say 3x plus 7 equals 10x plus 6. Subtract 10x, subtract 10x. So that gives me a negative 7x plus 7 equals 6. Subtract 6, subtract 6. So now I have negative 7x plus 1 equals, how did I do that? That's not what I wanted to do. Not subtract 6, subtract 7. Let me fix that. Minus, I did it again. Good grief. Minus 7, minus 7. So I have negative 7x equals negative 1. Divide by negative 7, divide by negative 7. So x equals 1 over 7. And then finally, so this one is, this is page 116. Okay, this one I made a note to tell you guys to distribute first and then clear the fraction. Okay, so I'm going to distribute first. So I've got 2x minus 1 over 3 minus 1 equals, now I distribute 3 times x is 3x and 3 times negative 2 is minus 6. Now I'm going to multiply everything by 3 to clear that denominator. So when I multiply it, each term. So when I multiply 3 times 2x minus 1 divided by 3, I'm just left with 2x minus 1 minus another 1 equals 3 times 3x is 9x, 3 times negative 6 is minus 18. So I have 2x minus 2 equals 9x minus 18. I'm going to move my 9x. So I have negative 7x minus 2 equals negative 18. I'm going to add 2 to each side. So I have negative 7x is equal to negative 18 plus 2. Keep the sign of the larger absolute value and then find the difference. And 18 minus 2 is negative 16. Okay, I'm off somewhere. Oh, I guess I wrote the problem wrong, or I did something wrong.
You multiply that the negative 1 to the one right to the right of the equal sign. That second negative 1 past the fraction, you multiply that times 3. You just didn't do that. You left it as
I forgot that 3. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just wrote down, yep, there it is right there. So that should be minus 3. So this should be negative 4. There we go. So that means, I'm just going to take all this away real quick. Okay, so we said I'd have negative 7x minus 4 equals negative 18. Add 4, add 4. So 7x, negative 7x is equal to, again, find the difference, positive and negative, take the sign of the larger. So now I have negative 14 divided by negative 7 divided by negative 7. So x is equal to 2. All right, any questions on those? Clearing the denominators, I need to multiply by the denominator and then just use my properties of equality to solve. All right, the next section I told you guys you could use a calculator in this section. And so the first one, I'm going to have 353 and 808 thousandths. Hang on. My hand hit the button. Okay. So 353.808. Your middle one, or the next one, you're going to have 0.2723. And the next one will be 2,625 and 8,213 10 thousandths. And then the last one is going to be 0.019581. Okay, so any questions on multiplying our decimals? All right, and then adding or subtracting is indicated. Remember, I said when I add or subtract, I've got to have common denominators. We even looked and said, hey, these are what the common denominators are going to be here. Okay, so we said our first one will be a common denominator of 36. So we said that what we can do is we can go ahead and start out. If we wanted to go ahead and make our mixed numbers into improper fractions, we would need to do that for subtraction. So we can do that for addition too if we want to. So 6 times 9 is 54, and 54 plus 5 is 59 over 9, plus 5 times 12 is 60, plus 7 is 67 over 12. Now, if I have a common denominator of 36, then I'm going to go ahead and set up my denominators. And I think about, okay, I multiply 9 by 4 to get to 36. That means I have to multiply 59 by 4. So I'm going to go ahead and use my calculator for that. So
you can reduce the 9 and the 67, can't you? Wait. Yeah, but can you?
Well, we're going to do 59 times 4 is 236. Make sure 59 times 4, 236. And then I'm going to multiply 12 by 3 to get to 36. So I'll multiply 67 by 3. And that's 201. So then when I add 236 and 201, that's going to be 437 over 36. So 437 divided by 36. 36 will go into it 12 times. And so 36 times 12 is 432. So that leaves me 5 left over with a denominator of 36. So I have 12 and 5 36. Okay. Now, instead of doing 59 over 9, we could have left that as 6 5/9, just done our common denominator, added that way. And so we'll do that for this one. We'll just leave it as 3 4/7, but we'll go ahead and put our denominator of 21 plus 4 and something over 21. 7 times 3 is 21, so 4 times 3 is 12. And then 3 times 7 is 21, so 2 times 7 is 14. So in this one, I add my whole numbers. 3 plus 4 is 7. 12 plus 14 is 26 over 21. And so now I need to fix that 26 over 21. So 21 will go into 26 one time. So that means now my whole number is 8. I had 7, I add the 1 that I was able to pull out. And so I have 5 over 21. So 8 and 5 over 21, 8 and 5 21sts. All right, for subtraction, again, I can go ahead and use the method that we did earlier where I change them to improper fractions. So we'll do that first. 8 times 4 is 32. 32 plus 3 is 35 over 4. minus 12 times 3 is 36. 36 plus 7 is 41 over 12. We said our common denominators would be 12, so that means I have to multiply this by 3. So this has to multiply by 3, and 35 times 3, I think, is 105. Yep. Minus 41 over 12, and 105 minus 41 is 64. And so 12 will go into 64 5 times. We would have 4 left over, so that would be 4/12, which would reduce, and we would have 5 1/3. Nope, what did I mess up on that? What did I mess up on that? So we said,
The thing you did, I don't think you did the improper fraction right. Yeah, it needs to be 43, not 41.
yeah, that'll do it, won't it? 43, 43. So that means this is 62. And now 5, and so there's only 2 left over. And now 2 over 12 is the same as 1 over 6. There we go. 5 1/6. Now, like I said, we can also leave it where we have 9, and we said I need a denominator of 15 minus 5, denominator of 15. So now 3 times 5 is 15, so 1 times 5 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15, so 4 times 3 is 12. Now, the main thing about this right here is I've got 9 5/15 minus 5 12/15. So my 5/15 is smaller than 12/15. This is where I have to borrow from my whole number. And remember, if one whole is equal to 15 over 15 here. So if I borrow a whole from 9, it becomes 8. Now my 15/15, I'm adding to 5/15, so I've got 20 over 15 minus 5 and 12 over 15. So then I have 8 minus 5 is 3, and 20 minus 12 is 8. So I have 3 8/15. So again, I can either change them to improper fractions, or I just have to realize that if I'm not able to borrow from the first number, if it's a smaller number, then I have to borrow from my whole number, convert it. So it just depends on how comfortable you are with that. If you're comfortable with it, then you can always just borrow from your whole number, make your fraction big enough to subtract from, or you can always just use improper fractions, but sometimes you're going to be dealing with bigger numbers to work with. So it's totally up to you. All righty, so any questions on those? I'll flip back real quick to the other homework that we had already checked before you guys got here. So we started on, let's see, this is activities 2. Activities 2.
You didn't do the bottom bit. You didn't check the rest of the bottom bit.
Okay, we'll go back to that in just a minute. I was just gonna back up for girls that came in a little bit late to check theirs real quick. So activities 2 on, what page is this? 1, yeah. Activities 2, so we had the staplers, 656, 791, 926, 1169, and 1349. And then the next page, the middle 2. And then on the next page, the middle 2, this is on page 114. X is equal to -3 and X is equal to 4 on those middle ones. And activities 3. And then we had just started checking, I guess, the fractions when y'all came in. So activities 4, On page 116, I've got x is -8, x is equal to 1/7, and then the last one we were checking x is equal to 2. And then we had, I think y'all were caught up at that point, right? Okay. All right, so we finished up our fractions there. And then, which ones are you saying that I didn't check?
The second part of activity 2. No, on lesson 51. Like the beginning of lesson 51. You had us do the second part of, well, I think you did that second part of.
Oh,
yes.
The second part. So we did the we did the first one where it was 4%. Original amount and then divided by the original amount. Okay, so I see, and I didn't even pay attention because I had the answer written for the first one and I just kept on going. I am super scattered today. Sorry, guys. I'm just not with it. That was on page, what did we say? That was lesson 51. Okay, so let's go back to that real quick. So the first one we said was 4% because we had already done that one together. We said the original price was $7.29. The new price is $7, and we divide by the original, so it was a 4% change. Then we said, okay, well, what if he offered it for $7 and the original was $8.79? And so when I subtract $8.79 minus 7 and then divide by $8.79, we find that that is going to be a 24.4% change. Going from $10.29 to $7 is a 32% change. And then going from $12.99 to $7, we find that that is a 46.1% change. And then we did the last one where we said it was a 53.3% change. So any questions on those? Awesome. All right, so now maybe I'll get on track. Okay. So let's kind of talk about what we just looked at. We've talked about changing percents to decimals. We've talked about changing decimals to percents. We've talked about changing a fraction to a decimal, and then we can change it to a percent. We've talked about changing a percent to a decimal and then to a fraction. So we've been able to work with our numbers back and forth. We've talked about finding a part of a number. We've talked about finding a percent of a number is equal to a part. There's all these different operations that we've done. And then earlier this week, we looked at percent decrease. We looked at how that percent decrease can also be related to a discount. Okay, and so that's how lesson 50 and 51 related is I did my percent decrease, but it's a percent decrease like in everyday life can be reflected as a discount at a store. And when we use a discount, then we can calculate what the sale price is. So now moving on to lesson 52, now we're going to flip and go to a percent increase. So sometimes there's a situation where maybe there is an extra cost involved in producing something. I know sometimes like the housing market will kind of shift and sometimes it'll drop and sometimes it'll go up. But when things are good, sometimes you might see an increase in the cost of building materials. Maybe things cost more. And so then they say, well, hey, we've got to increase prices. We have to do a percent increase to cover the cost of the increase of materials. So we're going to be looking at, so when we looked at this, discounts and sale prices, we looked at our percent increase and why that would be. And so now when we go to the real life aspect of it, this is calculating markup. So an increase is involved when we have to mark an item up. So it says the markup is the amount the price of an item is increased. There's also this situation where people that own a store, okay, if you own a store and possibly you buy things from the manufacturer to sell in the store, you have to calculate a markup, or you have to add a markup for you to be able to make a profit. So maybe, I don't know, let's even talk about at a gas station. You go in to buy a pack of gum, okay? Maybe the gas station buys it from the gum manufacturer, and maybe they're actually paying the manufacturer 50 cents for a pack of gum. But then when they sell it to us, they're selling it for 99 cents. There's a percentage that they use to mark that up to determine how much they're going to mark it up to for the retail price. So that's kind of similar to what we're doing here. So we're going to use the percent formula here, and it says to find the new amount when the percent increase is given, you're going to use the formula where you've got the new price is equal to the original price, but now instead of doing 1 plus the percent, we do 1 minus the percent. So remember earlier we said if I had the new price and then I've got my original price, and earlier when we did the 1 minus the percentage, that we said that was the same as saying 100% minus the percent decrease. Well, this time we're going to do 100% plus the percent increase. Okay, so in this situation, if we look and it says Denny currently sells a product for $11.95. After a 5% increase next year, what will the new price be? So basically, I've got $11.95, and this 1 plus 0.05 is the same as saying, okay, I have to pay 100% of what it originally was, plus I'm marking it up 5%. Okay, so I've got 105% is my markup. So 105% as a decimal is 1.05. Okay, so that's what it's talking about. That's where that 1 plus a 0.05 comes from. I've got to pay for 100% of what the original price was, and I have to pay for 5% more. So I'm actually paying 105% of the original price. So then I just change my percentage to a decimal. I multiply my original price by the decimal that reflects the increase, and that is my new price. Now, a variation of that, if I just wanted to find out what my markup amount was. Now, this was where I'm looking at my new price was the first one. I'm actually telling what the actual new price would be. If I just wanted to look at what my markup amount is, then I would have markup equals original price times percent increase. And let's look at a similar situation with that. Again, we've got the product selling for $11.95. That's the same. 5% increase next year. That's the same. But now it says, how much more is he being charged? Instead of saying, what is the new price? It's how much more. So we've got our new price times the percent markup. So if it's a 5% markup, it is written as a decimal as 0.05. So I do my percent markup, and now I just multiply that so I can see that you're actually paying 60 cents more. So my markup is the amount that I'm paying on top of the original price. My new price would be if I took that original price, added the 60 cents, and then that's my new price. Okay? So let's take a look at classwork. So the Warehouse Club allows non-members to shop, but charges them a 10% markup on all items purchased. If a computer costs $549.99 for members, what is the non-member price? Okay, so let's think about this for a minute. What is the cost? So I need to find out what my new price is. So I'll just put it as new with a $sign. So I need to find my new cost. So I'm going to take my original of $549.99 times 1 minus 10%. I'm sorry, 1 plus, because I'm doing the markup now. Now, if I've got 100%, and actually I'm going to go ahead and just write it as 100% plus 10%. Okay, so that means I've got $549.99, and I'm going to be paying 110%. What is 110% as a decimal?
1.1.
1.1. Yeah, because I would just drop my percent sign, move my decimal 2 places to the left. So now I've got 549.99 times 1.1. And so we'll come over here, 549.99 times 1.1, 99945. So end up with 9. 9 9's 18, carry my 1. That's going to be a 19, carry my 1. 9 and 4 is 13, plus 1 is 14, carry my 1. 5 and 4 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So 604. Now I've got 1, 2, 3 decimal places. So 604, $604.98. But what is the neighbor for the 8?
A 9, so it would
A
make
9.
it
So what does that mean I do with that 8?
604.99.
604.99. Okay, so now I can see that if you're not a member, you're going to have to pay $604.99 for that computer. Now it says if the warehouse club charges $40 for a membership, should the customer join the club prior to purchasing the computer? So let's think about this for a minute. If my computer is $549.99 and I add on the $40 membership fee, I'd be actually paying $589.99. So is it cheaper for them to pay the upcharge of 10% or to buy the computer and pay a membership?
Just get the membership and it would
Yeah,
be
just get the membership. You're actually going to save. Yeah, you're going to be saving about $20 almost that way. So you would want to go ahead and buy the membership. Alrighty. So now it says we need to solve and round answers to the nearest cent. To cover his expenses, Denny marks the price of each item 30% more than his purchase price. What does Denny charge for items that cost him $1.04, $7.23, $9.99, and $42.77? All right, so we're going to start at $1.04. If he starts at $1.04, what did we say his markup is? 30%. So what are they going to be paying? What percentage are they going to be paying of the
1.3%?
They're going to be paying 130%, right? Because they pay 100% plus 30. So they're going to be paying 130%. What is that as a decimal?
1.3.
1.3, good. So I've got 1.04 times 1.3. 4 times 3 is 12, carry my 1. 3 times 0 is 3, 0 plus 1 is 1, 3 times 1 is 3. Placeholder 0, 4 times 1 is 4, 0 times 1, 1 times 1, so I have 2, 5, 3, 1. Count my decimal places, 1, 2, 3. So I've got 1.352, and it said to round to the nearest cent. So what would that round to? $1.35. So he's actually, when he buys it from the manufacturer, from the wholesaler, he pays $1.04. But when people buy it from him, it's $1.35. All right, let's look at our next one. $7.23. Again, we're paying 130% of the price that he paid. So we're going to be multiplying that by 1.3. So I've got 7.23 times 1.3. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 7 is 21. Placeholder 0. 3 times 1 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. 7 times 1 is 7. Add them up. 9, 9, 3, 9. I look at my decimal places. I have 3 in my original problem, so I've got to move left 3. All right, so I have 9.399. So what am I going to round to?
Oh, round.
$9.40. Good. Round to the nearest cent. So because the neighbor number of 9 is a 9, that rounds up to 10, which makes the 3 round up to a 4. All righty, $9.99 item. Okay, so we've got $9.99 times 1.3. So $9.99 times 1.3. 9 times 3 is 27. Put down my 7, carry my 2. 9 times 3 is 27 plus 2 is 29. Put down my 9, carry my 2. 9 times 3 is 27 plus 2 is 29. Placeholder 0, then I have 9, 9, 9. Add them up. 7, 9, and 9 is 18. Carry my 1. 9 and 9 is 18 plus 1 is 19. Carry my 1. 9 and 1 is 10 plus 2 is 12. Now I look at my problem. I look at my numbers I multiplied, and I've got 1, 2, 3 places after the decimal. So I start at the end and go 1, 2, 3 places. So now I've got 12.987. So how would I round it to the nearest cent? What would that be?
12.99.
$12.99. Okay, so I'm looking to round to this place right here. His neighbor is a 7, so my 8 rounds up to a 9. All righty, now our final one, 42.77. All right, so we're going to have our 42.77 times 1.3. 42.77 times 1.3. 7 times 3 is 21. Put down my 1, carry my 2. 7 times 3 is 21. Plus 2 is 23. Carry my 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. Placeholder 0. Then I'll just have 7, 7, 2, 4. Add them up. 1 and 0 is 1. 3 and 7 is 10. Carry my 1. 7 and 8 is 15. Plus 1 is 16. Carry my 1. 2 plus 2 is 4. Plus 1 is 5. And 4 plus 1 is 5. I've got 3 decimal places in my problem. So I start from the right-hand side, move 1, 2, 3 to the left. So I've got 55.601. So if I'm rounding to the nearest cent, I'd have $55.60. Good. All righty. Let me get all of this erased down here. Okay. So it says when Denny has a sale, he marks the price 15% more than his purchase price. What is the sale price of each of the items above? So if it's 15% of his purchase price, now instead of multiplying by 130%, we're doing, I'll put in parentheses here, 115%, which equals what as a decimal?
1.15.
1.15. Okay. So now we're going to set these up, and this will be your first part of homework. You will do the calculations for the 15%. I'll go ahead and write these and get them set up, and then you can copy them and go ahead and take a break. So we would have 1.04 times 1.15. We would have 7.23 times 1.15. 9.99 times 1.15. And then 42.7 times 1.15. All right, we'll take a break.
my test.
Oh, thank you, dear. Yes, and real quick, let's see, Avery, I know you had sent me about the homework check, so let me, really quick, I'm going to go and take this
And we're
off.
gonna have to leave at 2.
Yes. So let me do, now where are y'all going, what y'all doing?
We have to do like the logic thing with like our school that we do like math. I mean, not math. That we do like all of our other subjects.
Uh-huh.
We have to like take this like logic class or whatever.
Oh, wow. So what is it, just like a one-time thing, or?
Well, it's like we do it in classes on Tuesday, but this is like if you need to catch up or something.
Gotcha. So real quick, I'm taking that. Okay, so real quick, I need to see pages 72 and 74. Okay. Awesome. And then pages 81 and 83. This one. Sorry, I was looking at it. I was like, I don't remember assigning that. So anyway, okay. Then, 86, 91 and 92, I think. 86. Okay, and then 91 and 92. Okay. Awesome. 93. Awesome. And then your fractions test. Did you give me that already?
Yeah, I see it too.
Okay. And then can I give you your decimal stuff back real quick? So that kind of get at that. Okay, so I was setting up, let's see, I'm going to share my screen again. Well, evidently I dropped, nope, here it comes. Okay. Okay, so the first one we said you would be multiplying the 1.04 times 1.15, then 723 by the 115%, 999, and 4277. So I'm gonna make a little, let's see. This is our first part of homework. So I'll put homework 1119. Okay. All right. We're just gonna jump on over this. The next thing I want to talk about is lesson 54. We're going to look at this for just a minute. It's called simple interest formula. So sometimes if you ever need to borrow money, you may be charged simple interest. And what that means is you're basically charged a fee for borrowing money. Or if you invest money, you can make interest. You can earn interest and make money on what your investment is. And so the main thing about simple interest, we have interest is the fee paid for the use of money or the investment of money. Principal is the amount of money that's either borrowed or invested. The interest rate is a percent of the principal that's paid each term. And so simple interest is a formula that we're going to use, and it is I equals PRT, where I is the amount of interest, P is the principal amount, R is the interest rate, and T is the time of the loan or investment in years. So typically, when we're looking at this, we're always going to calculate in the terms of years, unless my directions specifically tell me to calculate it at a different time. So if they said 6 months, I would need to convert that, and that would be 1/2 of a year, okay? Alrighty, so basically in this problem, it says how much simple interest will be charged on a 25% loan, a $25,000 loan with a 6% interest rate that is paid back in 5 years. So again, I said my formula is I equals PRT. So in this situation, P is going to be the amount that I've invested, or the amount that is the amount of the loan. So that P is my principal. So I know that P is going to be $25,000. My rate is 6%. And so you can see that 6% I'm going to express as a decimal. So that would be 0.06. Time, it said, is 5 years. So we put a 5 here. So if I just plug in I equals PRT, I've taken my 25,000 to plug in here. 6% as a decimal is 0.06, and then my 5 years, and then I just multiply it all together. So 25,000 times 0.06 times 5. So the amount of interest is $7,500. So thinking about, if you borrowed, that means that if you borrowed $25,000, you're paying 6% interest, you're paying $7,500 back. Your total amount that you're going to pay back is $32,500. So a lot of times that's why it's super important to pay attention to the interest rate to see how much you're going to have to pay back, because you're going to have to pay $7,500 more than you borrowed. Okay, so that's something to think about as you get older and start borrowing money and having credit cards and all that good stuff. All right, so here we are back at Denny's place, and Denny allows businesses a 30-day grace period to pay for purchases with no interest. So as long as they have paid it within 30 days, they don't have to pay an interest charge. But after 30 days, he charges them 18% simple interest of the unpaid balance. If the business purchases $9,500 worth of supplies from Denny and pays $2,500 in the first 30 days, what will the total cost of the supplies if they take a year to pay the remaining balance? All right, so let's take a look at this. How much are they originally purchasing? Looking at what? $9,500. Okay, so their original purchase is $9,500. How much of it are they going to pay before they get charged interest? $2,500. So I'm going to subtract that from $9,500, and they're going to have a $7,000 balance. Okay, so now that $7,000 is going to be what is charged 18% interest. So remember, I have I is equal to PRT. I know I'm going to be solving for I, but what is P here? What is my principal amount that we're going to be paying interest on? What is the bulk of the amount? $7,000. What is R? What is the rate? What is my percentage, my rate? 18%. What is that as a decimal?
1.8.
Not 1.8. 0.18, yeah. Good. And what is the time? How long did they say they were going to take to pay it?
A year.
Yeah, a year, so 1 year. All right, so now really the hardest part of it is going ahead and identifying what is what. So the principal amount, or the amount that they have that they're going to be paying on, is $7,000 at an 18% rate for 1 year. So that means if I use my I equals PRT formula, I've got I is equal to 7,000 times 0.18 times 1. So I is equal to, if I've got 7,000 times 0.18, I know I'm going to have 0, 0, 0. 7 times 8 is 56. Then I have a placeholder 0, and then I've got 0, 0, 0, 7. Add them up. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 6. 5 and 7 is 12. I'm going to look at my 2 decimal places. So now that means the interest on, or whoever's paying, is $1,260. So he started out with a total purchase of $9,500. He paid off $2,500 of that within the first 30 days. So there was no interest on the $2,500. The $7,000 he takes to pay off in a year. So he's going to actually end up paying $1,260. So if we wanted to look at how much he's actually paying for everything, we would take that $9,500, pay the add the $1,260 he's paying in interest. So he's actually going to be paying $10,760 for his materials. Okay, so it says how much simple interest will be charged on a $40,000 loan with a 7% interest rate that's paid back in 4 years. So we know we're going to be using I equals PRT. So what we're going to do for each of these problems is, first I'm going to identify what is my principal amount. So what is the amount of the loan? $40,000. So I know that is P. So $40,000. What is my rate? 7%. So how am I going to make that as a decimal? 0.07. Good. And how long? What is my time?
4 years.
4 years. Good. So I've identified P, R, and T. So I'm going to put it as I equals PRT. I equals 40,000 times 0.07 times 4. So I'm going to have to multiply 40,000 times 0.07. So 0 and 7 is 0, 0, 0, 0. 7 times 4 is 28. And then I'm going to, I don't even have to multiply by the 0 after the 7. So I have 2 places after the decimal. So I have $2,800. Okay, so all we do is identify what is I, or we're solving for I, what is P, what is R, what is T. Now it says, what will the total amount be paid on the $40,000 loan? How can I figure out that total amount? What do I need to do with $40,000 and the interest amount? Add it together. So 40,000 plus 2,800 equals what? $42,800 is the total amount. So it says how much is paid each month to pay off the loan in 4 years. All right. So it's asking how much is paid off each month over 4 years. So how many months would be in 4 years?
60.
Think about how many months are in 1 year.
48.
How many are in 1 year? We've got
48.
12 months in a year times 4 years. That'll be 48 months. Yeah. So now that means that I would have to take my total of 4,280, not 4,280, 42,800 and divide by 48 months. Okay. So 48 won't go into 42, but it'll go into 428 9 times. 9 times 8 is 72. Put down my 2, carry my 7. 9 times 4 is 36. 36 plus 7 is 43. I did that earlier when I said 41, that's 43. That's too much. I can't subtract that, right? Did I do my math right? 9 times 8 is 72. Put down my 2, carry my 7. 9 times 4 is 36. 36 and 7 is 43. All right, so we've got to bump it down to an 8. My eraser's awfully big. Make it smaller. All right, so let's try 8. 8 times 8 is 64. Put down my 4, carry my 6. 8 times 4 is 32, and 32 plus 6 is 38. Subtract 8 minus 4 is 4. 12, 3, 12 minus 8 is 4. Bring down a 0. So now that'll go 9. 9 times 8 is 72. Carry my 7. 43. Whoops. And subtract. 10 minus 2 is 8. 3 minus 3 is nothing. Bring down my 0. 48 will go into 80 one time. 1 times 48 is 48. Subtract 10, 7, gives me 32. And it told me in the directions how many decimal places to go. Round to the nearest cent. Okay, so I know I've got to go 2 places after my decimal, actually 3 places. All right, so I'm going to add another 0, bring it down. 48 will go into 320. Let's go 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 4 is 28. I think it's 6. 6 times 8 is 48. Carry my 4. 4 times 6 is 24. Plus 4 is 28. 10. 11. 2. So that's going to be 32. So I'm at 320. And now what am I going to see? I'm starting to repeat. Okay. So I know that if I'm rounding to the nearest cent, I'm going to be at $891 and what would I round that to in cents?
67 cents.
67 cents is how much he'll be paying per month. Okay, so I equals PRT. Interest equals principal times rate times time. So remember, I have to change my rate from a decimal to a percent. From a percent to a decimal, and then multiply by the number of years. So activities 3 here, working with simple interest, will be on homework.
I have a question.
Mhm.
On the, do we need to put like something that shows that it's repeating on that or no?
So on that one, because the direction said to round to the nearest cent, then that's what we did. We said that I would need to round to that 6. His neighbor is a 6, so that therefore I didn't have to do anything repeating. Good question though. All right, so in this section, amount of the loan times the interest rate times the number of years. So the first thing you're going to do is find the amount of interest paid. Then to find the total amount paid, we've got to add our loan amount plus the interest amount. And that gives me my total amount. And then amount paid per month. I'm going to have to look at my number of years, multiply by 12. Okay, so if I've got 2 years times 12, it's going to be 24 months. So I'm going to have to divide my total amount divided by number of months. Okay, so that will be that part of homework. Now, real quick, I know you guys are getting ready to have to go. I have a percent handout that we're going to have that, and then I emailed you yours, Hunter. So we'll go ahead and take a look at these. All right, so the first section, percent problems. Remember that when I have my formula, percent times whole equals part. Go ahead and write that at the top of your paper. Percent times whole equals part. Percent times whole equals part. So that's what you're going to put in at the on this first page. What percent of 126 is 22? So if you use percent times whole equals part, plug in the two pieces you know, solve for what you don't know. Okay. On the page behind it, we are writing a percent as a decimal, then write a decimal as a percent, and it says to round to the nearest tenth. The first section says round to the thousandths place. The next one says round to the nearest tenth. Then on the next page, we're writing as a fraction. We have percents that we'll write as a fraction. And then we have decimals that we will write as percents. And then the back page, finding percent change. And I've written at the top of each page which lesson it goes along with. Percent change, part of it's going to go with the percent decrease on lesson 50, and the other will be percent increase on lesson 52. So what I did is I circled the items. That's what it says, circled items. So if it was a percent decrease problem, that's from lesson 50. So you can refer back to lesson 50 for the items that are circled. Lesson 52 will be the ones that are not circled. Okay. And so this is going to be due, this is going to be due on Monday, December, no, third, second, first, hold on. Okay, so next week's Thanksgiving, the next week we are virtual. So this will be due, it is December 7th, Monday, December 7th. Okay, so this is due Monday, December 7th. So we'll have, you can, if you want to work on it over Thanksgiving, you can. If not, you've got the week after Thanksgiving that will be virtual, but it'll be handed in that Monday that we return to co-op. And then that Thursday is our last day and we're out for Christmas. So it's speeding by quickly. So your homework that we will go over when we are virtual week after next, the first homework that we will go over is going to be I said it would be this activities 2, the bottom of activities 2 on page 117. So 117, the bottom of activities 2. And then we've got the simple interest on page 120. So all of that we will go over on the Monday that we're virtual. Okay, so we'll keep on moving from there. But then as far as your packet goes, it won't be due till the following Monday. Okay, so what my plan is, since you guys are leaving early, since Olivia's out, I've got you guys that'll be left. I don't want to cover too much more material. I think we've got plenty to work on. So what I'm going to do for the rest of the class period is you can either work in your packet or you can work on the homework and your packet. So we'll use the rest of our time as work time on these assignments. So Hunter, you can stay logged in and work and have me to ask questions, or you can log off. It's totally up to you. You guys can get ready and go. And then I'm going to flip the lights on and we'll turn off the machine and we can use this as a work time. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoy your week off. And if you have any trouble catching up, or you pretty much caught up from being out, or okay, so as you're, if you only need any help after you're trying to catch up from being out or whatever, let me know if y'all need help or if you're stuck on anything. But I think y'all should be pretty much caught up. So good job on that.
Bye.
Are you gonna log out? All right. Well, let me know if you have questions. Okay. Have a great Thanksgiving. All right, bye, Hunter.